Build up close to the road, right?
Build on the road.
Because then to determine what zone you're in, when we first time we've done it, you take a measuring tape out there and you go out so far and say, okay, this is your 30 feet. Anything from here in would be R1. And that's how, I mean, we've had to do that before in some other properties.
How deep is your lot? 200 feet?
2 by 2.
200 by 200?
Yeah. How far do you think they are to the south, to that Dixon addition, South Braun curve?
You should have a description of that, shouldn't you? Like where John Zeman's. Can't you just go in that outlet and then go straight south?
Back at John Zeman's.
And then you'd run into, you'd be on the backside of George's current house property. Back behind Trace and Lanning's, you know, it would be straight over then.
That's kind of what we did is use the railroad right away. This is what we were looking at. That's what picked out that piece of property. So the only thing I'm looking at is whatever we decide. If we decide you can go 200 feet deep from 16th Street, somehow we have to make that so if George sells a lot and it's 250 feet back from 16th Street, then it won't be zoned properly. See, you know, I'm like, you guys, I don't know what to use for a description.
For them to be, our procedure would be, and correct me if I'm wrong, Terry, if they came in for a housing permit for a piece of property and it's 250 foot deep, Terry's going to go out there and measure what 200 foot is. And if it's beyond that 200 foot, he would not give them a permit to build a house.
That's the crazy part. There's just no good place to stop. But
I make a motion tonight that we go with all the changes that are proposed on the map, basically north of the school. South of the school would be include the golf course and Brian and Karen Menser's legal description.
north of the school.
Well, anything. You know, we're fixing that agricultural land out there by the school. You know, all the changes, but
maybe from Gishwiller, Gishwiller North, how about that?
Yep, Gishwiller
I'm not trying to change your motion.
No, I didn't know how to describe whatever we did up there. Because we did a lot of different things.
Gishwiller North, okay.
Well, if he says 28
And
George, we can go with that.
Can I stop you there? I wouldn't mind buying some more someday.
We gotta have a,
So I don't have to come back here and
we
go.
gotta have a second to the motion before we can discuss it. Then you can discuss, okay. So we just gotta make sure we get his motion down right. Okay, so you said on the back, Gishwiller North and Brian and Karen Menser's property and
Legal
the golf
description
course.
and the golf course.
Okay, so now I need a second to that motion so we can discuss it.
I'll second.
Okay, here you go second. Okay, now now we can discuss it. Okay.
I wouldn't mind buying some more someday. And if you only do the one I have, then it, if I buy more, then it's an ag, it's not residential, and then we're in the same boat.
But aren't you just 1 acre and they're talking about 20? Yeah, I think.
They made the motion that only the lot that I bought.
Just his lot. Just his lot.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I think we should go for 20.
Well, I'd go for footage. Do what Shirley says. Go by, you got 200 feet. Do you think you're ever going to go deeper?
I'd like to. That's why I'm asking if you can get John
Go
Zeman's description and go, that's your...
Go John Zeman's and go straight south.
Zeman's.
There you go.
280 feet.
West lot
We
line
did the
and
whole
south.
20.
There you go. Exactly.
If you went, would that be?
That's crazy.
That's where's the whole thing off.
That would square it off and that would get you zoned.
Yes, I did. Yeah, otherwise.
That's what I'd like to see.
Does George's house set over 200 feet then? I don't believe so. No.
Does George's current house sit 200 feet back?
That's close.
I mean, it's awful close, but I don't think it is.
That's close.
It's
From the center of the road, it could very...
darn, it's
awful close.
at least that, if not more.
33 steps is 100 feet, but
Yeah.
that's quite a yard he's got.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
200 foot might not be.
I guess that's why I
What I understand
you know,
your
if we're going to battle this 200 feet, 300 feet, 500 feet, we're going basically back to what we originally proposed the very first time. You might as well say. By the time we start squaring off, the squaring off is that fence row.
Well, my concern is, if you go to John Zeman's lot line and run it across, how do we know that George is going to allow us to do that particular portion? That's my...
Well, one of the meetings, a public hearing or something, he sat down with a couple of you and showed it up on that map where that Shirley says allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that point was, that's what I take.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like half of what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, basically, what got me is he allowed when he was talking to me, he allowed anything on the west side of the road. He was more concerned about the east. And then I walked out there with him to find which line he was telling me about, going east on that behind Mailer's. And then he gave me the story about he was thinking about building at one time back in there.
Yeah, that's what that strange little
Right.
place is. I'm not sure we're ready to vote yet, are we? We're still discussing.
Yeah.
Because we have a motion on the floor, so we need to take care of it, but, and Steve's motion says, correct me if I'm wrong, all the changes on the map north of Gishwiller and Brian and Karen Menzer's property,
Legal description.
and the golf course is okay. That's what the motion says. So now, apparently we have some more discussion.
Yeah, I guess I would be interested in amending it and saying the 20 acres that he has allowed us for his own, so we get a chunk of land there, not just to spot something where eventually he'll probably run into trouble, like Brian says, well, he'd like some more, and, you know.
Okay, my question to you is, who describes the 20 acres? Then do we go back to George and let him describe the 20 acres to us? Is that what we're doing? I want to clarify this so that we can take it to the council.
No, I
Well,
think,
you better
yeah.
work
Work
with on his motion to, if you want that motion, that's 200 feet or 20 feet, doesn't make a difference.
Sherlyn,
Yes.
you and I were discussing about what the county could do for us in regards to aerial plot maps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is there any way that we can get that shot?
It was just recently.
Brian, didn't you say there were,
Brian?
Adam, yeah.
Adam, didn't you say there were some new aerial maps?
Yeah, they just updated their aerial maps in the last couple of months. I was invited to come.
The pictometry thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was invited to come during the presentation of the maps. And I had just mentioned to Shirley earlier today that for the future there might be some possibility there for identifying our limits. But yes, I would tell you it's specific to a point. When you get down to an actual lot, like if we tried to identify just Mincer's lot on that, it's not as applicable when you're looking at it at that level. When you're looking at it from, if you're looking at it more from a block level, it's much more accurate.
I guess my whole thing is, Adam, maybe I should rescind my motion. I think we need either something here that we can actually see John Zeman's lot, shoot it with our eye, or I feel we need as a board move out
And take a look at it?
and take a look at it.
Otherwise, we'll just make a motion, throw it in
Yeah.
George's hands and let it go.
What you could do is go out to FSA and with their maps, they're down Acrop's in it, the farmer's 10th of an acre. That will show you the building sites and all that, and you could draw. I would recommend, Steve, you and George, or just you yourself, somebody go out there and the best way to avoid a lot of hassle is take Brian and take George and go out there and talk to Brian Beach. And zoom up on it and put a point down there. You can measure as far as everyone wants to go, square it off, and then he can give you the acres and you got it right there.
I'm questioning, I blocked the south. I think John Zeman's sticks out further to the west than what that
And
fence
it's
is.
at an angle.
And it's at an
Right.
angle, right.
Because I know, because mine is at an angle too.